Today we're going to learn about the equation of a circle. And we're going to try to keep this pretty simple today just because I know you've got a sub today, so I want this to be something you can pick up without me there. So the equation of a circle has this standard format. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Now initially that looks a little bit overwhelming. However, what that's really telling you is h and k represent the center of that circle. But notice I changed the sign of those as I brought that out. So when we identify the center, we're going to make sure that we change the sign. This r here, as you might expect, stands for the radius squared. So whenever I need to solve for that, I'm going to need to make sure I take the square root of that number. So how this is going to work is I'm going to give you one example together and then have you try the even ones on your own, but I'll write the answer up here for you to check. So if my center is at 0, 0, I'm first going to start out with x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared. So again, that's coming from my h and k, should equal my radius squared. Now since those two parentheses have minus 0, technically that's just x squared plus y squared equals whatever we get when we square 18. So we do want to figure out what that number is and then go from there. Go ahead and try number 2 on your own. So for this second one here, we should end up with x squared plus y squared equals 64. Now we're going to build a little bit more difficult as we go. So this time our center is not at 0, 0. So remember again that these are your h and k. So in the first parenthesis, I'm going to say x minus 16 squared plus y minus a negative squared equals 1 squared. So this minus a negative becomes a plus, and we're going to rewrite that just a little bit cleaner here. And we're going to go ahead and square that 1, but 1 squared is just 1. Try number 4 on your own, and then come back to check. So for number 12, we should have x minus 5 squared plus, not equals, y plus 2 squared equals 16. 2 more examples here. I'll do 5 with you. You'll do 6 on your own. So for number 5, those are our h and k. So x minus 11 squared plus y plus 7 squared equals 3 squared. Again, we're going to go ahead and square that number to simplify it for us. And once we have that, we're done. We've written the equation. Try number 6 on your own, and then come back to check. So notice as we're plugging these values in for h and k, make sure that you notice we are changing the signs. So since our standard form has a minus h and minus k, this positive 1 became a negative 1, and this negative 6 became a positive 6. So be careful with those sign changes. The next thing we're going to talk about, and the last thing we're going to talk about today, is graphing. So what you're going to want to do is find the center of this circle and the radius of this circle, since those are the 2 pieces that we need. So we want to identify those 2 pieces of information first, and then write the equation. To find the center, we want to connect the highest point and lowest point of that center together, or that circle together rather, and we're going to connect the leftmost part with the rightmost part. Where they cross should give you the center. So this point right here is at negative 1, 0. And to find the radius, I'm going to figure out approximately how far we've gone from this center up to this point, right to this point, down, and to the left. So all of these are 2 units away from the center, which tells me that if my center is at -1, 0, my radius is 2. All I need to do with that information is what we did before. Go ahead and plug that in to the formula, and then simplify as much as you can. So that y minus 0 simplifies to just y, and 2 squared simplifies to 4. Try number 8 on your own. Pause the video if you need to, and then come back to check. Our center this time is at -3, -2. Our radius this time is 1, 2, 3, 4. So in my equation, x plus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 16. Again, remember that we square that radius. Now, in your homework or the practice that you're going to have, they're going to ask you to graph something yourself. So let's say you had the following. You have x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 16. What we want to do is identify where is the center and what is the radius. So from this, I know that my center should come from changing the sign of h to be -2 and changing the sign of k, which is -5. So that's going to become a positive 5. My radius, I'm going to take that 16 and take a square root of that to give me 4. So what I would do is on my graph, I'm going to come to -2, 5, which is going to be about here. And then I'm going to go left 4 from that point, down 4 from that point, right 4, and up 4. So I'm kind of going to bleed into this a little bit, but we're up here. And then we're just going to sketch that circle as best as we can. If you end up having any questions, please know I'll be happy to go over that Monday with you, but give this your best shot. Good luck!